Good afternoon, good people of YouTube. I thought I would do a little bit of an introduction video. Some of you may recognize me, thinking, hey, I know you. You're that guy that was Black Ren. I was. For 5 years, I've gone by a different name. I've recently rebranded myself. Well, when I first got into this, which will be about 5 years now, I started off using Old Town Blacksmith. That was my original handle. And then I come up with something else. It did me really well. It took me, from there to here. And I recently rebranded because I felt that what I come up with did me a good job, but it wasn't going to go no further. And it was just kind of in a rut. So I'm now on YouTube. I've already posted one video, which was actually an old video, a TikTok video. It was a short on here, but for TikTok, a minute and a half is like a super crazy long video. So anyways, this is my shop. My name is Christian. I started blacksmithing about 5 years ago. It'll be, in December, will be exactly 5 years since I built my first fire. February of 26 will be 5 years since I made my first knife, which is what I mainly focus on. Not what I had in mind when I first started all this, but that's what people want. That's what people buy. And I have found that I love taking like old rusty iron, like them old plow feet down there, and making a beautiful knife out of it. It gives me a sense of accomplishment to take something old and forgotten, because the majority of the wrought iron and 5160 high carbon steel in my shop, and I mean the majority, the vast majority, come from right out there in the woods where my great-granddaddy's shop used to be. Now, this anvil, which a lot of people love to tell me about the chunk that's missing, because I'm glad they do, because I ain't never seen it, I'll be honest with you. This was my great-great-granddaddy's anvil. He bought brand new in the early turn of the century, 1910s, maybe 1919, somewhere around that. Anyways, that's what I really like, and that's one reason I went back to the name Old Town, because it really goes real deep into my family, as far as where we've been for the past 225 years. Now, I do like doing other things. If you can't see my little wall over here, I have lots of different hooks and stuff. I did that one yesterday. I call it a mammoth hook. And as you can see, it was just a piece of wrought iron, half rusted to pieces. And these chains are just real, probably 200-year-old chains that I found in the dirt. There's one of my little S hooks. And I kind of brought them out here and just threw them in the forge just long enough to kind of knock the rust off. And just hung them up. Because I like stuff like that. I like preserving history, which is one reason I kind of got into this, other than I found myself playing Skyrim and only doing the blacksmithing, so I thought, well, I need to try this in real life. So, anyways, hello everybody. I'm about to do a video on forging a guard for this Bowie. I'm going to do a D-guard, like Civil War type fighter guard for it, because I like historical stuff like that. It's cool. If you don't already follow me on TikTok and Instagram, I'm on there as well. I just made YouTube last night. This is my first video I've made specifically for YouTube. And it's great not having to try to rush and get through it and chop it and this and that. I can actually put a video up on here that's of a regular real life length, because ain't everything in life just chop, 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 quick, 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 before and after. And stuff's stressful. So being able to just talk, and then soon to be able to just work and not have to worry about rushing and just showing y'all the full process, I'm very excited about this. I've had a lot of people telling me to get on YouTube for a long time, and I just finally made the move. I thought, I just rebranded. This is a good opportunity, to put the new name out there. Which, by the way, if y'all ever are interested in one of my hats, comment on this video and I can get you one. Anyways, I reckon that's about it. I'm in rural Mississippi, by the way, before y'all start asking, like, where you at in Alabama? I'm not. I'm in rural Mississippi. And I am self-taught. I'm not affiliated with the ABS or the Mississippi Blacksmith Association. I know some of them fellas, but I don't go to any kind of meetings or none of that. I am self-taught. I have several friends who are blacksmiths that I do go to with advice and things of such, particularly if I'm working with old steel, trying to figure out what's what without actually having to throw stuff in the fire and mess with it and see how it breaks and stuff like that. Like, I now have acquired the knowledge of a lot of old farm equipment, and I know what kind of steel it is and all that, so that's great. Because all them plow feet down there is 5160 spring steel, and a lot of my stuff I do is 5160. That is my favorite steel. I don't really reckon I have a whole lot more, details I want to go into, because, I don't want to get personal, but welcome to my channel. Thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting and just watching. If you've watched this far, you're awesome. Now, I'm about to end this, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it up on here, so y'all can watch it and kind of get to know me a little bit and say, hey, I might like this guy's videos. I'm going to subscribe. Because the next video I'm about to do is I'm going to forge a guard for this blade, which I did. I made this blade like a year ago. I've had it sitting on my computer desk for a year because I just ain't got around to doing a guard for it. And I'm going to do it. Right after I finish this video, I'm going to do it. And if you can't help but admire my little toothpick over here, I just glued it up. I broke my long clamp, so the only way I could really glue the antler and everything up was I had to stick it down in the stump. This is a good old white oak stump. Stuck it down in there, hammered on it, and then just stood here like this and just held on to it until the glue settled. It's good now. I'm just going to let it cure while I prep the forge and everything else. This epoxy really needs about an hour before you disturb it. So, and the guard on here, which you can barely see, this is wrought iron. This is like 200 years old. I didn't even knock the texture off on the top of this guard. I just hammered it just enough to give it an S shape. And if you're wondering why it has an S shape, it actually goes back to the days of people knife fighting, because it goes up in the back, so that way if you're fighting and their blade goes on the spine of yours, it don't just go straight into your hand. It has that loop, so it'll catch the blade, so you can stop it before it just, takes your hand off. And then the reason it goes down in the front, if you didn't already know this from pirates and stuff, is when you're swashbuckling or knife fighting, like David and like Bowie, when the blade, if your opponent's blade hits yours and goes downward, instead of taking your fingers off, which would then, you wouldn't be able to hold a knife because you lost your fingers, that guard would go this way, it'd roll over, so that way the blade would come down and ricochet off of that guard and away from your fingers. Now, I don't plan to get in no knife fights, but I thought, I'd at least make it a little historically accurate. Some people would call it a Bowie. I don't call this one a Bowie. I would call that more of a Arkansas toothpick, or maybe even a hog sticker, if you know what a hog sticker is. But it's a very gentlemanly looking hog sticker. It's elegant. Anyways, I'm gonna quit rambling. Now that y'all know me a little bit and you see what I'm all about, if you want to see more, subscribe. Most of my videos ain't gonna be me talking. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't do a whole lot of this on video. What you're gonna see me posting is gonna be working, and that's gonna be about it. You're gonna see me make stuff, and occasionally I will do a little woodworking here and there, because I grew up working in a sawmill from a very young age. So before I ever got into blacksmithing, I already had a knowledge of woodworking. This whole shop is built out of repurposed and scrap wood, throwaway stuff from our mill, slabs especially. So Anyways, y'all have a great day. Thank you for watching. If you've watched this whole thing, go ahead and subscribe, man. You basically my cousin now. You might as well subscribe, stick around, start the video over and watch it again, you know? Anyways, thank you.